Like to welcome everybody out to November 3rd, 2015, our Mastermind Call. Today we're talking about opportunity. So for the next 5 weeks, we're using the Money Mastery acronym. M is for mindset, which we covered last week. This week is opportunity. Next week will be networking, entrepreneurship, and you, how to be yourself. So today we're really talking about what opportunities do we have and how do we access them. So really it's sales training, but I want to share a couple stories to get started. Two young friends, Arthur and Walter, were driving on an old rickety road out into the middle of nowhere. When Walter got out, turned to Arthur and said, "I bought this land. I'm going to build my dream here. I want you to buy all the other surrounding land and build my dream with me." And Arthur looked around and thought, "There's nothing out here but jackrabbits and a couple orange fields. This is ridiculous. There's nothing here." And Walter's like, "You got to buy this property. It's going to double, triple, maybe quadruple in value in 1 year." Arthur just passed it on and said, "I appreciate it, but I'm just not interested." And Walter said, "You got to do it. You got to do it." And we've all had friends like that, and maybe we've been those friends at times. And eventually Arthur said, "You know what? I just can't do it. I'm going to pass." 1 year later, Walt Disney opened up Disneyland, and Art Linkletter was the spokesperson of the MC at the opening of Disneyland. He had the rights to buy all the surrounding property around Disneyland, but he did not see the opportunity for what it was, and so he passed on it. A family from Japan called the Fujisai family saw what was happening, bought 56 acres surrounding Disneyland for $10,000 in 1954, and in the late 1990s, they sold it back to the Disney Corporation for $100 million. So what is the difference between Art Linkletter and the Fujisai family? It's the way that he thought about his opportunities. They both had the same opportunity. The Fujisai family took that opportunity and ran with it, and Art Linkletter passed on it. Also, when Walt started Disneyland, Art Linkletter had the rights to all the film production and all the, remember the old 35mm film? All of that in Disneyland. He had it for 10 years and did nothing with it. And eventually Kodak came in. And to this day, Kodak is still running all the pictures and all the digital stuff in Disneyland. If we have opportunities and we don't access them, it's our fault. Now, as a marketer, like Walt was a marketer, he was offering an opportunity to Art, and Art passed on it. So there are times when you're going to present this opportunity to people, and they're going to pass on it. But it doesn't mean that it's not a right opportunity. Disneyland is still phenomenal, even though Art Linkletter didn't agree with it. The second story is of a young boy named Conrad. Conrad was a rambunctious young man and had a lot of desire to play and have fun, and one day his dad came into his room at 7 in the morning and found him asleep and called him a lazy oaf and said he's good for nothing, would amount to nothing in his life. And this really hurt this young boy, and he wanted to be just like his father. His father was an entrepreneur, owned a lot of the stores and retail places in his small town. So he worked hard, went to school, went to college, eventually went off to the military, came back, became the elected assembly official for New Mexico. And he decided he wanted to be just like his dad. So he was going to be a banker. So he convinced his dad to start a bank. And they worked hard, and he had to start at the ground floor as a teller, worked his way up to being president of the bank. Eventually, he went to his father and said, "I want to buy this bank." And his dad said, "Nope, this is my bank. You're going to have to go get your own." So he'd saved up some money, and he had relationships within the banking industry and borrowed some more money. He went out to buy different banks, and every time he went to buy one, it'd get bought out from underneath him. So he found in Cisco, Texas, he found this bank, and he gave the guy a full price offer, which the seller thought, maybe I'm selling it too low. So he instantly raised the price. This young man was frustrated, went to a local hotel to get a room because he knew it was going to take some while for these negotiations to happen. Walked in and just saw a bustling lobby and talked to the owner and said, "Is it always like this?" He goes, "Yeah, pretty much, because you must have a great business here." He said, "Yeah, it's not bad, but what I really want to do is I want to be out there in the oil fields. That's where the real money's made in Texas." And so Conrad said, "Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to see your books and maybe buy your hotel." So they spent the afternoon together looking at books, and that day, Conrad Hilton bought his first hotel. When we have opportunities and we get stuck on this mindset that we have to have it a certain way, we really miss what else there's available to us. Had Conrad Hilton not been flexible with his opportunity, we wouldn't have Hilton hotels today. We'd probably have Hilton banks all across the country, but we would not have Hilton hotels. So there are 5 ways to create opportunities. Actually, it's countless ways to create opportunities, but here's a good way just to remember most of them. I love this quote by Orson Martin. Don't wait for extraordinary opportunities. Seize common occasions and make them great. Weak men wait for opportunities. Strong men make them. So here's 5 simple ways to create more opportunities in your life. 1, start close to home. Define your strengths, talents, and expertise. Create a niche for yourself. So when I was traveling in Atlanta, I was talking to this one man. He's like, I want to start building in Chicago. I thought to myself, why would you build in Chicago if you live in Atlanta? The cost to go back and forth is ridiculous. There's millions of people who live in Atlanta. You'll never talk to every single one of them in your entire life. So just stay put, stay where you are. There's something sexy about different locations, moving and building, cities across the country. That's great, nothing wrong with it, but it's a lot easier to work from home, start from home. So when I lived in LA, outside of LA actually, and all of my other speaker author friends, they're getting on planes every weekend, traveling around the country. And I thought, between LA and San Diego, I think there's like 26 million people. I should never have to get on a plane. And so honestly, for about 9 years, I never did. I spoke up and down the I-5 corridor, had plenty of opportunities in my own backyard. Number 2, obey the law of reciprocity. You have to give to receive. Reach out to other people and see how you can help them. As you give service, you will discover available opportunities. I'm a huge fan of this. If any of you have ever coached with me one-on-one or we've ever had a personal conversation, I will always talk about go create value first. So I had an opportunity on Friday. A good friend of mine, he asked me to come in. He's actually an old client of mine. Asked me to come in and teach his real estate organization about the emotional fingerprint. So usually I charge for that, but I thought I'll go do this for free. So I go and I teach his entire organization. And he said, well, have you ever connected with Justin Prince, the owner of Modere? It's another MLM company. And I said, no, I haven't. We were supposed to connect and we haven't. He said, well, let me make that happen for you. And today, in about 2 hours, I'm meeting with the CEO of Modere, which is another MLM, and to talk to him about money mastery. So that opportunity never would have happened for me had I not created value first for this gentleman. Later that day, I had another friend of mine call me up and ask for help. So I went to lunch with him. Now, mind you, I'm not making any money during this time. This is what I call farming. You're planting seeds. He took me to lunch. We talked, and he's also a high-profile person in network marketing. And he said, for me to go to my next level, I need to get 3 people to sign up. Would you, your wife, and your mom or sister sign up under my company just so I can get to this level? I'll put it on my credit card, and then we'll cancel it in 30 days. And I said, no problem. I'd be happy to do that. And then I turned to him. I said, I want to thank you for actually asking me, because I know how nervous you are, because I don't do this kind of thing, but I could tell that you were nervous to ask. He goes, Woody, I was scared to death to ask you. I said, well, thank you for believing in our relationship enough that you felt confident. And I said, if you have any other problems, if you need anybody else, you call me and let's make sure you get all the ones you need. So on Halloween night at 7 p.m., he calls me. He's like, Woody, I'm short 3 more people. Can you help me? So while I'm trick-or-treating with my little princess, I'm pulling together opportunities for him to build his business. Once again, it's not directly related to me. But when I launched Money Mastery through his company, who do you think is going to be my greatest advocate? He is. So that's the law of reciprocity. Create opportunities for other people, and they will create opportunities for you. Number 3, create a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That old adage we've heard 1,000 times, but it's so true. What is your plan? Where do you want to be in the next 1, 5, and 10 years? Number 4, be flexible. Even though you have a plan, you should still remain flexible. Had Conrad been so rigid on his plan that he wasn't going to bend or flex, then we'd have a whole different organization for the Hilton company. And number 5, keep your eyes open. Even if your current opportunities are thriving, which I hope they all are, you should still take notice of what's on the horizon. What's coming that you could use? What new software? There's a new software out there right now called Periscope that a lot of people are starting to use. It's very successful. It's a way to build your audience through 24-hour video, where you create a video and in 24 hours it expires. So I know John Ferguson's using that a lot right now, and other people as well. So here's how you create opportunities. A couple of sessions back, we talked about the law of engagement. I want to bring this back today because it's crucial for us to talk about when we're talking about marketing. Because if you're going to sell to somebody, you got to engage them. 5 laws or 5 principles to profitable engagement. The first one is we're always engaged in something. Think about that for a second. You're engaged in this call. You're engaged in your texts, your emails, your phone calls. So to interrupt that, we need to shock them. We need to get a grabber, something that gets their attention. and we'll talk about that in a moment. Number 2 is anticipation enhances engagement. So the World Series, Black Friday, regionals, Christmas Eve, Halloween, those events in our life, getting married, closing your first big contract, your big deal, that is where you really want to get more engaged because you're anticipating it. You can't wait for it to happen. Number 3, engagement is equal to delivery. Now we'll go into this in great detail today when we talk about how to get people to buy more product, to sell to them, because their engagement is equal to the way that you communicate with them. So if you remember, I think it was 2004, 2005, there was a great movie called Fun with Dick and Jane with Tay Leone and Jim Carrey. They're in their bedroom, they're kissing, they're about ready to go to bed, and you can tell it's getting a little bit steamier, and one turns to the other and says, "We should have sex." And the other one says, "On Tuesday," and they roll over and they go to sleep. That type of engagement is, and the delivery is not the same as if you come home and your sweetheart has put rose petals on the floor, turned on the lighting, put on some mood music, then there's that engagement much, much higher. So keep that in mind when we're talking about how to engage people through our delivery systems. Think about Disneyland versus a county fair. There's no comparison between those two. The engagement you feel at Disneyland is 100 times what you feel at a county fair. Think of a normal pizza parlor in Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese has got all the bells, the whistles, the the characters in costume, the video games. The engagement's so much higher because the delivery is so much more. Number 4, surprise is the highest level of engagement. What have been the 10 most engaging seconds of your life? Usually it's one of 3 things. It's new life, near death, or sex. Those are usually the 10 most engaging seconds of your life. So what do they all have in common? Surprise. You know, if you're driving through a canyon or through the mountains and a deer jumps out in front of you, all of a sudden you're instantly engaged because you're surprised. You reach into your pocket, you find a $20 bill, boom, you're engaged instantly. You're going to make breakfast and you put the cereal in your bowl, you go to get the milk and there's no milk. You're surprised. Now you're engaged. Now you're not happy, but you're still engaged. And lastly, number 5, sustainable engagement happens through repetition with variation. Think about music. Bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum. It's very repetitious, but there is a variation. Life is repetitious. Marriage is repetitious. Business is repetitious. We have to put the variation in there to keep ourselves engaged. Think about Nike. Nike is all about winning. That is what their brand is. Just do it. And so all they do is they change the variation of the different people they license, from Tiger Woods to Michael Jordan, Serena Williams. They're still looking for people who are winning, and they will for the next 10, 20, 30 decades, next couple hundred years. They will always be in the winning business. They're just looking for variation of athletes. So in a quick snapshot, that is the law of engagement. Now we're going to have more fun and get into actually how this applies to you and your business and how to make more money. So I just sent out a video or a attachment that had the prospecting, getting their attention. How do you get people's attention? So we're going to cover 3 areas today, and this is where we're going to mastermind back and forth. And these are just some things that I put down that I've heard you guys talk about on ways to prospect. You've got Eventbrite, Meetup, road signs, and Craigslist. I added talking to people. I think we underestimate the value of just talking to people. When you're getting your cup of coffee, when you're at the grocery store, when you're at Home Depot, when you're out and about, just talk to people. What are they passionate about? What do they want to achieve? Where do they want to go? Another thing is, don't only be online. I know a lot of people are pushing online marketing right now, and that's great. And I love that Scott and Nancy Rowe are doing it, but they have a huge volume to leverage. They've got thousands of team members, and they can't take phone calls, so they have to do it all online. For the rest of you who don't have a 1,000-person team, do offline as well as online. So I'm going to pause it right here. I'm going to ask you guys to text me. Text me right now at 951-973-3408, 951-973-3408, and tell me what are other ways you prospect. And let's create another big list so you guys can all use this later. What are some additional ways you guys prospect? Go ahead and text in to 951-973-3408. How do you guys prospect? What are the best ways that you guys prospect? Love it. This is what I love about the mastermind. I say it every week. All of a sudden, you guys just start dumping stuff left and right, and I love it. We're getting all kinds of great stuff. Let's go through these. Oh, there's some good ones here. So we've got the 3-foot rule, T-shirts. So putting your name and or not name and address. Yeah, don't put your name and address on a T-shirt, but you put your company. Do you want to make $10,000 this month? Different things like that. Drop cards, networking events, starting a blog. That's a good one. I like that. It's unique and different. Social media, door hangers. Man, you guys are just pounding me. I got like 30 of these texts already. Wow. Now, there's no reason any of us should ever feel like there's not opportunities out there, because you guys are just putting in nonstop. Website. Job fairs. I think that's a good one. People are looking for jobs. All right, I'm gonna have you guys pause there. Please don't send any more in. I'm gonna write these all up while you guys think about how to write positive questions. So I was coaching one-on-one the other day with Mike Meyer, and he was brilliant about marketing. When, you know, so often people do the negative, you know, are you tired? Are you sick of being broke? That negative visual that people create in their mind, it hurts them, and they don't want to actually be a part of it because they don't think they can. So flip it to a positive question. So this still works in everything we're listing above, from the social media, the T-shirts, drop cards. But what are some positive questions? Are you a leader? Are you ready to maximize your talents? Now, don't text those to me yet. I'm going to read off all the ones I just got, put them in your phone, save them, and when I ask for it, then hit the send button. So hold on one second, but go ahead and start thinking, what are positive questions you can ask people to engage them? Back to the marketing side, car magnets. That's a good one. When you are in line, talking to people there is good. This is a funny one. I talked to my 5-year-old about real estate in public, and other people hear it and want to know more. I love, you know me, I love the creative ones. I like the craziness. The way you live promotes the business. That's true. Social groups. Referrals. I have to admit, this is probably, I don't want to say the best one, not to discredit the rest, but I think this is a crucial, very important one. Become a product of the product. People want to see how successful you are. If you live the lifestyle, people want to do business with you. Facebook, networking events, a lot of the same things we've covered. Your website, email marketing. Dinner parties, I like that. Okay, this is a creative one. I've seen this before. Putting flyers in books at Barnes and Noble. I think it's illegal, or not if it's illegal, it's frowned upon, but I'm all for the creative stuff. Trade shows, balloons, card magnets, vinyl letters, door hangers, flyers. These are all great ones. Send out thank you notes, newsletters. Open houses. Perfect. There's a great list right there. All right, go ahead now and send me your ideas about how to write positive questions. What are some things that you can engage people with? Remember, surprise is the highest form of engagement. If you can shock them, get their attention quickly, you've done the interrupt, what I call the grabber. They want to participate more, and they'll be able to contribute back to society. So what great positive questions do you have? What wealth are you leaving your children? Are you ready to travel the world? To text me, my phone number is 951-973-3408. That's 951-973-3408. Go ahead and text me in what ideas you have on being able to create positive questions for people. Are you a business owner looking for a new adventure? I'm going to go ahead and read these off because there's so many of them. I won't be able to type them all right now, but I'll come back and type them and send these to you later because there's so many good ones. And I don't want you guys just have to wait for me the whole time. So let me go ahead and, man, I love you guys. This is just awesome. I need a secretary just to type these in as we're talking. Here's another 20 instantly. All right, let's go through these. You look very sharp today. Are you a trendsetter? That's a good one. Ask questions about family, occupation, recreation, money. What could you do with an extra $1,000 or $5,000 per month? What would it feel like to have money coming in while you're sleeping? There's a good one. Are you placing your family first? Would you like to be all that you can be? What is your ideal life? What are you contributing to society? Oh, here's a good one. This is what I call legacy play. How do you want to be remembered? That gets people to really think. Do you want to create your own future? Here's a good one. This is a very scientific statement. I'll show you why. You have an awesome work ethic. How would you like to get paid what you're worth? This is called complimenting in a question, where you compliment somebody first and then back a question behind it. I use this technique in all of my negotiations, in my masterminding events, in my networking events, where I'll say, you've always been very successful. Tell me how you got started. Instead of asking someone, tell me how you got started, compliment them first. You're an incredible looking individual. I bet you're a fantastic public speaker. Those types of things are great ways to really shock people and get their attention. If money were already plentiful in your life, what would you do with your time? Do you want to make your yearly salary in 1 month? Are you looking to save on taxes? Is your retirement growing at lightning speed? Are you ready to choose differently? Are you ready to learn how to pay 2/3 less in taxes? Oh, in taxes. Don't you love how these things always fill in for you? in taxes? Would you like to get paid what you're really worth? The reason why that's so good is we all have a positive mindset on what we're actually worth. So I think it's fantastic. Are you living your dreams? Do you want to be part of a wealthy group with wealthy minds? If you could do anything and be anything, what would you be? If you were not afraid, what would you really do? Do you have a plan to fire a boss? What if your dreams could actually become a reality in the next 12 months? Now, I like to add a date to it because it makes it more concrete. How would you like to how would you like to fire your boss in the next 90 days? If you can quantify something with time, it becomes more real in people's mindsets. Here's a very good one because this gets people very, how do I say, it gets them to visualize. Paint me a picture of what your life will be like if you don't do this business. So that's a great way to help them sell themselves. So tell me what your life's going to be like in the next 1 to 5 years if you don't learn how to invest in real estate. Instantly, they're like, oh, yeah, I don't know what to do. Are you part of a mastermind group? Would you like to be? Can you walk away from your job in faith knowing you're going to be okay? If money weren't an issue, what would your life look like? That's fantastic. So I'll go back and type these all in. I just want to read them off for you guys so you can get the ideas going and flowing, and that way you can keep your own notes. I'll go back and retype all these just so we can have them for later. Let's go on to the next one. Engaging them. Engaging them, you have to look at how to correspond with them. So you've got physical and digital. If you're going to do digital, email marketing is the way to go, and also texting. So email marketing, you've got SurveyMonkey, and what SurveyMonkey is you can create a survey, send it out to everybody on social media. Like all these questions that we just asked would be perfect for SurveyMonkey, where you can send it out to them and say, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do with your life? Okay, I'm doing a seminar on wealth creation, come this day. And SurveyMonkey will keep track of all that, their name, and you can ask for name, address, phone number, whatever you want to ask for. So SurveyMonkey is a great way to get out there and market. The other normal email marketing is Aweber, iContact, MailChimp. There are tons of them out there. I mean, really, you can go on forever. But I have one client, she's got 1,000 people in her list. She's like, how do I market to them? How do I talk to them? The hardest thing about talking to them is creating content. So when I built Money Mastery, it's really a 20-year experience of all the collections of the stories I've made over my lifetime, and it's very hard. But if you don't have a database of stories, here's where you can go to get some stories. I use Forbes.com, Entrepreneur.com, RD.com, which is Reader's Digest, InspirationalStories.com, SkillsYouNeed.com, and PersonalDevelopment.com. So I want to open it up to you. Where are websites or what are some great places for you to get content to drip on other people? So if you're going to do email marketing, I recommend 1 to 2 a month, or I'm sorry, 1 to 2 a week, no more than 2, preferably only 1. And you just send it out to your list, invite them to come out. One time you can do real estate, next you can do personal development. YouTube is a fantastic source. So go ahead and send in some recommendations you have of where you can get inspirational content or real estate content that you can email to your people to keep your list warm. The Renatus community is great. Google inspirational quotes. Those are always good. If you want to just send like quotes out to people, I was with the vice president of a network marketing company today just via texting. I woke up at 7 in the morning. I was thinking about her, so I just started sending her some inspirational quotes, and she wrote back, Woody, I can't wait to do business with you. You're fantastic. You're inspirational. And it's just sending out quotes. If your mentor has a drip email system, relevant blogs are awesome. Yes, some of the information that you get from the Renatus education. These are all good. I'll keep reading these and start adding some more. These are fantastic, guys. Hot topics in the news. University studies. Local paper, if you have a paper anymore. Your FAB members, fantastic. The Renatus Facebook page. Even money mastery. You can't send them the video, but you can take the story and type it up and send it to them. Personal experience. Internet research. Look for powerful ads for inspiration. That's a very good one. That's unique. I like that. Wall Street Journal. So that's perfect. We'll stop with that. Those are fantastic. Let's move on to the next phase. So let's go back to the top here. Ways to prospect. We have a huge list there. Then we go to engaging them through email marketing, ways you can find new information to market them and keep them in the drip system. This is the most important one we're going to talk about. Asking for the sale. You get 100% of what you don't ask for, and it's easier than it sounds. Michael Huggins here in Utah, I was talking to him when we were in Arizona together. I said, well, how are you doing? He's like, man, I'm crushing right now. I'm doing $40,000 a month the last 2 months in a row. And we're on track to do another 40 months over the next couple of months. I said, what is it? Because I've worked with him off and on for 2 years. I said, what do you attribute it to? And he said, Woody, all I'm doing is asking for the sale every time I see a person. So you ready to get started? When do you want to get started? Are you ready to start? Let's make this happen. Come to the next event. He said, his biggest mistake was he'd bring someone to an event and say, okay, we'll see you next Thursday. Now, every time he talks to someone, are you ready to change your life? Are you ready to invest in real estate? Are you ready to make your life what you want it to be? And honestly, it is just that. If you want to sell something, the only way you can actually do it is ask for the sell. But a lot of us get too embarrassed, or we're too external, we're too worried or too concerned. No, just ask for it. Let's make it happen. Now, if you get rejection, if you get concerns to pop up, here's a technique. It's how you resolve concerns. It's called feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. To be honest, I felt the same way when I saw this opportunity. I have found that as I found the money to invest, my entire life has changed. So feel, felt, found. You can use this on your kids, your spouse, anybody in the community. I understand how you feel. To be honest, I felt the same way. But what I found is XYZ, dot, 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 dot. You just put your own personal story behind felt. And let's not forget Bob's mantra. See the people, tell the story, promote events, follow up. So what I want to do for all those who are on the call, what I would like is I want you guys to email me your best Craigslist ads. So what is the thing that has worked for you? And you may feel like, oh, it's not really working for me. Please email it to me. I'm going to cut it and paste it and put it in here so we can have a huge list that everybody can use. So this is the purpose of the mastermind. Use everyone's brilliance, bring it together, and share it. That way you guys don't have to create your own Facebook ad or your own Craigslist ad every week. Let's just cut and paste and use each other's because we're promoting the same message. So email me at, you should all have my email. You obviously are getting on the calls, but it's S as in Sam, B as in boy, WWOOD as in dog, Y at msn.com. So sbwwoody@msn.com. And please do it in the next 10-15 minutes so I can compile it all, send out this recording to you. If you are listening to this recording later and you have some fantastic Facebook or ads or Google AdWords or things that you've done, please still send it to me. I'll wait a week, compile them all, and send out a second version as well. So you guys, thank you so much for being on this call. I appreciate you. I appreciate who you are. I hope we've answered your questions. If not, send me your questions. We'll address them next week when we go on to networking. So have a great day. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon.